Are your gumboots packed? Umbrellas drawn? Your raincoats on? Because there is a bit of rain in Melbourne this week.
Yeah, Rain Man's been doing his dance.
Yeah, I have a feeling it could be Danny O'Brien for Russian Camelot, because I think the wetter the better for him. But
yeah, I think he's a bit of a swimmer, the RC, so that might or might not have influenced my form dissection.
Yeah, it's interesting, mate. So, and it's... Look, the Bomb have been bang average of late. So, look, it says 10 to 20 mils on the day, which if it's on the day during the meeting, it will be a very heavy track. But they've been all around it. We actually have no idea what it's going to be like. So,
yeah, plus it's the Valley, mate. We've been playing with Caulfield a fair bit recently. I feel like they've done a really good job of keeping that track pretty true.
Especially with the inconsistent weather forecast. Yeah. They've been bloody unbelievable. Credit to them. So
well done.
It's been playing really fair, not leaderish like it was in the autumn. So, yeah. Alrighty, mate. Let's get stuck in. Horses that caught our eye from last week. Kick us off.
Yeah, mate. Straight up going to go with It's Me, which is a bit of a captain obvious in the Kosciuszko. But I'll tell you what, not many horses can do what that mare did to win from there. Shame about her tendon injury, I think, that she has.
Yeah, apparently she did it in the run. So, yeah.
That's a tough horse.
When you still get over him in the last 20. Actually, speaking of, not sure if you saw this from Mitch Beer. So he trained the runner-up, redouble. Yep. Dubs. And he on Twitter, he said he went out for a kebab later that night. And some kid stopped him. He's like, "Hey, Beery, if it was 1,199 meters, you could have got a mixed instead of a chicken."
The cheaper chicken kebab. Oh, man, that's classic.
He put that
some
on,
kid.
I know. It is like, it was the highlight of my day. It was like so funny. So, yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, mate, she's a star. Hopefully she comes back. So I've got some looking into the forwards. This one's probably looking forward to the autumn, but Captivant, the 2-year-old winner for the Snowdens in Sydney. Yeah, looks a smart colt. So, yeah, look, really hard to actually, see if they're going to do anything. But already the 2-year-olds are looking pretty smart. I like the look of that Godolphin thing that ran a few weeks ago, and that other one that you highlighted a week or two ago.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Yeah. Enthar, maybe?
Yeah,
Enthar?
the filly. Yeah.
So already the 2-year-olds are looking pretty smart. Who else, mate?
One that you said would run a good race, actually, in the Caulfield Cup. Finished 4th, Prince of Iran. I thought he was really good in the Caulfield Cup. I had a box try on. If he got over the top of Chosen One, I would have had the trifecta, which is a bit of a shame. But you get that on the big jobs.
You do.
Melbourne Cup. Now?
Yeah. That's been his target the entire time. But Charlie Fellows said that he'll be fitter first up than he has been previously, because the prize money in the Caulfield Cup was just 2, and he thought it might be a weaker edition, but I don't think he anticipated Anthony Van Dyke and Very Elegant doing what they did. So
yeah, it was a great race, actually.
It was, but I'd take him over 2 miles over Anthony Van Dyke any day of the week. So can't argue there, mate. This is one that I said to you during the week and on the weekend. 50 stars. Looks cherry ripe for a Cantala. His 2 runs back this prep have been fantastic. He's going to go from the Cantala straight into the McKinnon, which is exactly what he did winning the Australia Cup this year. So you can get him for about $10 in each. I've had a play there.
Of course you have, mate. And he was my last one as well. Because it's funny, as soon as you text me saying that, saying that you knew what your Kentala bet was and you'd be 50 stars because he ran a huge race.
Yeah.
So
Barry's permitting, but he gets back to Flemington, mate. Ooh.
Oh.
Any rain around will suit him too. My last one was Hit the Shot, so I'm kind of thinking for Derby Day, that's my focus at the moment. Hit the Shot, so he ran third behind our on top selection last week, Alvarado. He's improving with every run towards the Victoria Derby. He's firmed up. I was a bit disappointed actually that I think he was second or third in the line of betting, about $7 or $8. But he was really strong through the line. So I can't remember a derby as wide as this one.
Yeah, neither can I.
Like, usually I'm going to have to rewatch that 3-year-old race from Geelong on Wednesday, because that usually, I think Soul Patch came through that race. No, he came through the Moonee Valley race. It was Southern Moon that came through that race last year. And the Moonee Valley race is the one that this weekend is the one that Young Werther's in. That's what Soul Patch came through. So I think the Victor Derby picture can get a bit clearer really late in the piece. Hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, right now it's a bit of a puzzle, isn't it?
It's a genuine jigsaw.
Yeah, even I'm sure Let's Crack Deal would be running in that, and he was my on top selection for the week and didn't disappoint. He's a young fella, so who knows?
Yeah. Okay, mate. Cool. Let's get on to our Polo recipients for the week. Who's your top tier?
Mate, it's more of a combination of things. We've got a stacked few weeks coming up, don't we?
Yes.
We're going to be busy men.
Yeah.
I feel busy. I feel like it's a bit overwhelming, actually. So I sent through a text, a few months ago to a few group chats basically saying, guys, gear up for a big finish to October and starts in November, because we've got Cox Plate, we've got the AFL Grand Final, we've got the NRL Grand Final, and then we've got Derby Day, we've got Melbourne Cup, and we've got the first State of Origin the day after.
And the Masters that week.
I'm not much of a golf fan, but I can appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
So... Yeah, it's a busy few weeks ahead. Tell you what, it'd be a good time to be unemployed.
Wouldn't it? Yeah. No, I totally agree. It's a punting bonanza at the.
I'm not going to have any money left, which is a real shame. But
yeah,
the sacrifices that you've got to be willing to make.
It is. My top tier is the Brisbane Lions and Lockie Chocky Neal. So. You came over and watched the game on Saturday night. It was a bloody disaster, but
it was.
Geelong they could be the premiers. So
they could.
And as you said, if someone had told me earlier this year that they'd be playing a prelim, I would take that every day of the week. 2 years ago, they didn't make the 8. They're on the right trajectory. So and Lockie Neal, mate, won the Brownlow by 10 or 11 votes. I think that's the biggest margin in history in an 18-game season. If it was 22 games, mate, he would have gapped them.
Oh, yeah.
He could have polled 40 votes, which is unbelievable. And he got the best and fairest overnight, and he tied the best finals player with Huey McLuggage. So,
yeah, cool. Yeah, he was huge during the finals, actually. He was huge.
Yeah, so that's what you want, mate. Finals players. Alrighty, middle tier.
Mate, I had... Classic legend, middle tier. I thought it was a great win in the Everest. What were your thoughts on the Everest race, mate?
Brutally run. Interesting to see the comparisons between Rachel King and Eduardo and Hugh Bowman and Farnan.
Agreed.
And Eduardo went out even quicker, but you saw Rachel King. She was trying to restrain the thing, and Eduardo's mouth was open. He was just revved up. He just wanted to run.
He's just really fast. He's so fast.
Bit annoyed at J-Mac, actually. His comments after the race on Nature Strip, he was like, that thing out front just went way too fast. He went stupid stuff or something. Yeah. Whatever he said, it was to that effect. I was like, mate, I thought you had the best horse in the race. Usually when the tempo's that hot, if you have the best horse in the race, it suits it. even if it's on the speed, back in the field, the best athlete wins, which it did. Classic Legend he ran to a peak that was higher than Nature Strip's from last year. So Nature Strip's peak last year was the Dali down the straight, where he brained everything by 3 or 4 lengths. Classic Legend did the same thing.
Yeah, you can't begrudge that run from Classic. It was enormous. And yeah, listening to Karen McAvoy after the race talking about how far ahead Eduardo and Nature Strip were, and he was like, geez, I've got to have a good thing underneath me to chase them down. And not only did he chase them down, he absolutely blitzed them. So I've got him as my middle tier though, because he's off to Hong Kong, which is a shame. Would have been good to see him feature in some Group 1 sprints. Yeah.
Well, we're drinking from the same juice box. You're stealing my notes, because he was, for the exact same reason, he's my middle tier.
Well, there you go.
One final thing on it, Bossy ran second on Bivouac, and he called the Quinella before the race.
Yeah.
But his comments were like, I thought I was home and hose, but when my thing was quickening, this thing was going way quicker. In Classic Legend, he's like, I can't believe how fast that thing is. So, looks a proper horse. And, probably overlooked the obvious in that one.
I think we did, mate. Well, and he's a classy looking grey, which even more so for me means I should have backed him, but whatever. Get that on the big jobs.
Your bottom tier.
Mate, actually, look, Chalky Neal, but not for obviously the reasons you stated. It was more so the fact that he had to present the Brownlow medal to himself.
Bizarre, wasn't it?
It was bizarre. Look, tough year for the AFL and Channel 7, obviously. And they did a really good job, I thought. Because I didn't watch most of the Brownlow, but the parts that I did watch, I thought it was great. But surely could have got, I don't know, maybe Fags or
get the last Brisbane Brownlow winner, Simon Black.
Simon Black, yeah, he
lives
was
in
there.
Brisbane. Even Ackermanis, we saw him around the grounds the other week. Even him, a club legend or something. I don't know. It was bizarre.
Yeah, so I felt for the bloke a little bit because it was a bit awkward.
I don't think he cares.
Oh yeah. I thought that could have been done better.
Yeah, no, I agree. My bottom tier is this Cox Plate field, because how Buckhurst doesn't get a run.
Oh,
it is
shocking.
Ridiculous that thing doesn't get a run.
Shocking.
So how a 3-year-old that is going to be a pacemaker for the stablemate in Sir Dragonair gets a run, who's won a benchmark 66 over over a thing that has beaten Sir Dragonair home in its last 2 starts in Europe, defies logic. Even how Master of Wine gets a run over him.
Moonee Valley, mate, is just some of the things they do there are a bit bizarre.
And I get Natoya getting a run because she's a Doncaster winner, but she's not going to feature in this field. She's out of sorts. I think the Team Williams are rightfully they're rightfully pissed off because
so they should be.
It'd just be a better race if he was in there. So and his form stacks up at 2,000. He's not a 2,400 metre horse. I said last week the Caulfield Cup would be a barrier trial, and he'd come through the Cox Plate. He beat Master of Wine home. It makes no sense. Anyway.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
It is. Alrighty, mate, let's get stuck in. So we're not going to preview the Moonee Valley card quite yet. We're going to do the Manikato for Friday night. So there's that many dual acceptors across Friday and Saturday. Even if we gave our top picks for the quaddy legs, I reckon some of them could be just running on Saturday. So we had a look and we just thought it wasn't that worth it. So let's just focus in on the feature. And this race has been the one that has really suffered because of the Everest. Because could you imagine if Nature Street was in this, all of those horses that came down?
Because it's got a decent purse.
It does, but all the really good horses are targeting the Everest now. So, this is a Group 2 field at best, unfortunately, but, still a Group 1 status. So, First run in 1968, mate. Group 1 since 1989. Only one winner has drawn wider than barrier 9 in the last 10 years. So looking at this, Bella Vella and Order of Command. And yeah, they can't win.
They just can't.
Only 3 3-year-olds have won in the last 30 years. Now, looking at this field, I don't think there is any 3-year-olds. So
No, it's not, man.
don't need to worry about that. But Loving Gabby won it last year as a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Last 6 winners were at least third up in their preparation, which I think the majority of these are. So, except for Pippi. And
Which I think suits her.
yeah, Pippi, Kementari. Okay, a few of them aren't.
Special K.
So, Trekking, Haydock, Kementari, Order of Command, and Pippi, and Bella Vella are not at least third up. So that you can put a line through a few of them if that's how you do your form. Previous winners, Haylist, who was sparring partner with Black Caviar, Buffering, Lankan Rupee, Chautauqua, and last year Love and Gabby.
Chautauqua.
So, bit of speed in this race, mate. You have Pippi going forward, Bella Vella, Order of Command goes forward, Splintex. Haydock can probably take a sit with Special K and Diamond Effort. Who'd you land on?
Mate, yeah, look, I landed on Trekking. I think Pippi will get out to a really quick start, especially from that barrier. Suits her perfectly. But I just think the 1,200 metres, she might just fade away in the last 100, giving some of those swoopers a chance to run over the top of her. Can't knock her at all, though. She's a really underrated mare. And both times she's won Group 1, she's been my next best pick, unfortunately. But you get that on the big jobs. I don't think the quick backup's an issue for Trekking in this. I don't think James Cummings would send him down to Melbs after the Everest if he wasn't right as rain. And look, running fourth in that race is great form in itself for this. He's proven around Moonee Valley, and I think he's a pretty safe bet, to be honest. The other horse that I was looking at, apart from Pippi, was Dirty Work. Look, I backed him last start. He got the chockies. Prior to that, he ran in the top 4 against Classique legend Eduardo, Biv, the race prior, G-Try and Nature Strip. That's turned out to be the form for the Everest, so that's cracking form. Couple of queries for him. Hasn't won at the distance, and he hasn't won at the track from 2 starts. So Moonee Valley is one of those tracks, mate, as you're well aware, that some horses just don't like it. Some horses don't like the sort of skinny turns and things like that. So prefer to watch Dirty Work here. So yeah, look, pretty self-explanatory for me, mate. Got Trekking on top. I think he'll be too good for this field. I've got Dirty Work to finish strongly with him. And then I think Pippi will probably hold on for a third, but a couple other cracking mares in this race, but that's where I've landed.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. I had 4 winning chances, and you can, based on the weather conditions, you can put them down to 3 each way. So if it's my 4 winning chances in the race are Trekking, Dirty Work, Diamond Effort, and Brooklyn Hustle. If it's dry, Trekking, Diamond Effort, and Brooklyn Hustle. If it's dry, Trekking, I think all 4 of them can win, actually, if it's dry. But if it's wet, I'm taking Brooklyn Hustle out of the equation. And if it's really wet, I'm taking Trekking out of the equation as well. He's just not as effective. Best wet tracker in this field is Diamond Effort. And I'm hoping for my wallet's sake, because I have a ticket for $34 for this mare, that she wins. But look, if Trekking brings him his best form here, he'll be winning this.
Yeah.
So if it's a dry track, I've got Trekking on top, Diamond Effort running for second, and Brooklyn Hustle running third. But if it's a wet track, I've got Diamond Effort on top, and I've got Dirty Work running second and Trekking running third. So yeah. I just think, there's others here, like Special K could run a race, but I just can't have him. Haydock has been set for this race, and he's back to his favourite track. He's just been Diamond Effort got past him pretty easily last start.
Yeah.
and the start prior to that as well. So I just think she's going the better. Splintex, no thanks. Order Command, no thanks. Liar.
Hey.
You're getting a price finally for her though. So you're getting $20 for her. So if you wanted punters, you can find out at the price.
Yeah, tell you what, you could find out what the place price is because that's what she'll be doing probably.
Bella Vella too long, Pippi too long for mine, but Brooklyn Hustle. If it's there's a bit of speed in this race. If the brakes come, she's drawn pretty well. If it's dry, she can definitely feature.
Well, mate, there's some jockeys in cracking form in this race. I was saying a few weeks ago, Craig Williams was in great form. He's still going well, but I think Benny Mellum and Mark Zara at the moment are absolutely hot. Jamie Carr as well. He's in good form, but Brooklyn Hustle's a decent bet, mate.
Yeah, so
$11.
Yeah, depending on the track conditions, trekking on top if it's dry, if it's wet, diamond effort for me.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough.
Cool. Alrighty, let's get stuck into the Moonee Valley card. We'll get through the first 5 pretty quickly because, they're a bit of a dartboard job. First race, mate, open handicap, 955 sprint. You have the old Muddy Marvel himself up the top weight, Jungle Edge. Are you backing him here?
Mate, look, if the rain is coming down, I'm not going to bet in this. I'm not going to bet in this race regardless. If the rain's coming down, Jungle Edge is a real chance. But look, at this stage, it's hard to go past the odds-on favourite, number 2 Ancestry. He's paying $1.65 at the moment, juicy. Watched this last couple of races, and it's been dominant. So. This looks really nice for it. It's drawn well. I think it'll be hard to beat. But yeah, if it's a river, Jungle Edge will be swimming, and he's Ian Thorpe basically. So, not a bet race for me, mate. But I think Ancestry will win. But if it's raining, Jungle Edge will be a real shout.
Yeah, not much more to add there, mate. It's really hard race to have a strong opinion. And the second race on the program, the Inglis Banner, crikey. This
my
is
specialty.
What are you 4 from 4? So who's the trainer? So 2-year-olds, set weights. Only 3 of them had a race prior, and they ran a really nice 6th, 7th, and 9th. So one of them has won a massive $575 in prize money previously. So who'd you land on, mate? Because I found this impossible.
Oh, mate, yeah. Definitely watch the market for this one, punters. But, the Mara Eustace stable's been in great nick with the 2-year-olds recently, and Mark Zara's in great nick. And when they combine, they've got a pretty good strike rate of about 20%. So, based on that, I've landed on number 7, Son of Mercury. Draws well here. Mara Eustace stable, I was trying to find some comments they had on the thing. Couldn't find any. So, look, no betting race for me. But if you were to have a punt on this, punters, based on jockey-trainer combination, there it is for you. Mara Eustace with Mark Zara on top.
Found it interesting that Mitch Beer's got J-Mac on board, number 4 Hardware Lane. He's a country trainer with a Metro jockey, so I found that interesting. But I haven't got a tip in this race yet because, it's bloody hard. And on Thursdays on RSN, they usually have a trial dude that comes on, and he usually gives his best tip for the maidens. So
yeah, right.
I'll be listening into that, and I'll be providing a tip based on his feedback there. Bloody impossible. The Red Anchor Stakes is race 3 on the program, 1,200 metres, Group 3, 3-year-old set weights penalties. Who'd you land on?
It's a pretty tough race, mate. But for me, it's probably between a couple of horses that have got some form around September Run and Swatstat, which 2 of the more smarter fillies going around the country at the moment. So that's number 5, Portland Sky, and number 7, Bella Nipotina. Portland Sky ran 4th last race, and that race was won by September Run. That was absolutely lightning quick. that race. Hoping the cold improves. I think he's drawn nicely here. Obviously, can't go past Bella Nipotina as well. Ran third last start prior to the Moir Stakes, and the Moir Stakes just wasn't good at all. But it's a pretty smart filly, so I think it'll run a good race. But I've got Portland Sky ahead of it at the moment. Hopefully see some sharp improvement from the colt.
Yeah, I had Bella Nipotina on top. Basically, looking at that September run, what's that form / Montesira. So yeah, I think bloody tough race to have another opinion, mate. As you said, so not much more to add. Race 4, Phillies Classic, Group 2 over 1600. Phillies 3-year-olds. Who'd you land on?
Yeah, man. Another couple of fillies coming through from the 1,000 Guineas, I believe. So that's Thermosphere and Ecumenical. Ecumenical, from memory, I was like 4 wide the trip last start and still finished 4th. So, yeah, something about that filly. But I've taken it on. So there's a horse that won last week, and it was going to be an honourable mention for me for a horse that caught my eye on the weekend. Number 4, Incredulous Dream. So it was in that race where we tipped Rainbeal on top and came home like a freight train and looks like 1,600 metres is suited. Finished really strongly on the quick backup, but at the price I'm willing to have a play, $7.50 for the win at the moment. So... I've got it on top.
Yeah, nice one. I've always thought that the top weight Thermosphere is a wet tracker, and if she gets a wet track here, it'll be the 12th race. Hopefully, not hopefully, but it could be the 12th race on rain-affected ground where it could just be absolutely bottomless. I think she's the one that could get through it. I think she won on a heavy 10 at Randwick earlier this year, so... I think she's the best wet tracker in the field, and she's proven she brings that Sydney form as well down to Melbourne. So I think that might just be a little bit better. So I've got her on top. Race 5, mate. The Tessio Stakes, 1,600 metres, Group 3, Mares Handicap. Tell you what, there is the top 2 in the market. Even top 3, I think they're suited out to further. Strange race this.
Yeah, I thought it was a really odd race. Well, Graceful Glamour will lead. We know that.
If there's any wet around for her, she can't win.
No. She'll lead. I think they'll run over the top of her. I was just looking at number 3, Sovereign Awards form, and I think this is its 4th crack at 1,600 metres in a row. Which is really bizarre. I haven't seen that before. But look, its form at the distance reads really well. At the track, it reads really well. It's won this track and distance 3 from 4 attempts. So proven in wet as well. There's nothing else in this card that was really screaming at me. So I've got it on top. Again, a no play race for me. Because I just don't know enough about a few of these horses, and it's just a bit of an odd one. So, that's how I saw it, mate.
One that I always keep an eye on, and I'm a bit disappointed that the market's got as short as they do, but number 5, Bonvicini. This mare puts in every run. Had no luck in the Sierra Sioux race last start. Gets back in her runs too, but she has proven to take a bit of a sit, which from that barrier is a bit sticky. But Jai McNeil's in good form at the moment, and a wet track, if it comes, is a little bit of an unknown, so it is a genuine punt. But she beat Pretty Brazenhome earlier this year, so I think she's got the most upside for mine. So I'm happy to be in her camp. Okay, mate. So race 6 on the program. Now this is the Derby trial, the Moonee Valley Vars over 2,040 metres. So the one runner for mine that really screams out from the page, who, if you like it in this race, punters, you absolutely have to have something on it in the Victoria Derby in the futures markets, is number 3, Cherry Tortoni. I cannot believe it's $16 for the Derby. It's put in one bad run last start, went down to Sydney, kind of felt like an afterthought. But yeah, it's running a second favourite here. If you like it in the Derby, you have to have a go at that price. But who do you have on top here, mate?
Look, I think Cherry is an awesome shout, but I can't get past number 6, Young Werther. Absolutely stormed home last start. It was a horse that caught our eye on the potty a few weeks ago. Draws well here, and I think Ollie will learn from his mistakes last time and ride it a bit more on pace. But I can see it and Cherry Tortoni duking it out at the end. If Young Werther wins here and shows a similar turn of foot to last time, that's a pretty decent Derby bet, I reckon, mate.
Yeah, smaller field will suit. Had 16 runners last start. Just had way too much traffic, but that's what he's going to get in the Derby too. So, and he did flash home for over the last 100. I've gone for a last start winner, the top weight. I don't think he's actually going to the Derby, so I think this might be a grand final for him, Quay. So the thing that really tipped me into this colt's direction is I think he's suited out to this distance, and he was pretty brave last start, and any cut in the ground helps him. Yeah, big tick. So if the track is rain affected, he's proven to get through it, whereas others aren't necessarily. Cherry Tortoni is. So any cut in the ground would suit that horse, but Young Werther, that is a genuine question mark.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so again, another horse to watch. If he actually runs this week, is Johnny get angry? Bloody hell.
Johnny.
He never runs these days. Anyway. Okay. First leg of the quaddie, mate. Jeez, this is similar to a couple of races ago. Over the mile, Crystal Mile, Group 2, Wait for Age. I've got some runners here that are suited out to 2,000, some that are suited at 1,400. Genuine query, this race.
Yeah, there's a bit tough. I like number 1 Homesman, though. I think this Wait for Age looks suitable. His first up form reads really well, and he doesn't mind the deck a little bit wet. Look, first up is generally something I don't really like to back, but from 6 first up races, he's won twice and placed second twice. So, those are in some pretty smart races. I think his last first up run was against maybe VE and the likes. I can't remember what race it was, but I think this race is a lot more suitable. Draws well.
Yeah, and he won first up last spring at the track and distance, so he can get around the valley, no issues. For mine, I only had 2 winning chances in this race, Homesman being one of them, and he's my on-top selection. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but number 8, Chief Ironside. This guy is a genuine cat, but he's doing okay this prep. He ran 3rd behind Rock at Newcastle, he was proven to be very smart, and he's probably heading to the Cairns Harbour, and then he was only 3 lengths behind Mr. Quickie in the Toorak, so I think he does need a drying track, so if there's any sting out, I think he's got none, but he won this race last year as well, and he kicked it about half of Australia out of the quaddies. So I think he can, pardon me, he can run a race, but yeah, Homesman on top for me. Alrighty. Race 8 on the program, the Moonee Valley Gold Cup. So this race turns out some very strange winners, mate.
Yeah, I don't like this race at all.
This last year, it was forget the European horse, but it was a pacemaker over in Europe, and it won this race. And then it was running at a farcical speed. It was an absolute trot. And then the year before that, that was Ventura's Storm's last win in Australia.
Jeez.
So it is. It grows up, throws up some pretty gross results. Look, not a red hot field, but you got some horses here. So who'd you land on?
Oh mate, I've got number 8 Ocean X on top. Again, not a super keen betting race for me, but Ocean X has been pretty horrid this prep, but I think finally gets to a suitable distance. Has an excellent record at the track as well, actually. And if you look at its last prep, it was basically rubbish until it got to a distance then, which was 2,500 metres, had a win. Then it went up to, I think, 2,800, had a win. So hoping for something similar here. It's proven on wet. From the 3 starts it's had at the track, the mare, it's won once, came second once, came third once. So I think $15 is a fair enough price to find out if it can improve.
Like, she's already in the Melbourne Cup. So those, you can basically put a line through those first 3 runs for mine. And she's getting better with each run. And the 2,500 here, big tick. So I think she's definitely one of the winning hopes. And 15s does look overs, but she has 50 kilos in the Cup. I don't think they would want any sort of penalty in the Melbourne Cup. So I don't know if she's going to be fully wound up here. Her grand final's the Melbourne Cup, which, all things considered, I still don't think she can win. I should have put the bookies as a bottom tier for this because I have a screenshot on my phone that when the markets went up, and you can check it, Bet365 put up $41 for Shared Ambition.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that when you sent that text through. Unbelievable.
$41. It's $4 now. And
it just doesn't make any sense.
Like, I looked at its... And, mate, I downloaded the Bet365 app trying to get on because I was like, that is a steal. Even if it doesn't win, you got the mass overs. Couldn't get on. Couldn't get it. So it must have been there for a second. Yeah, I was filthy about that.
Who's writing these odds? We'll find you.
Oh, God. Like, when it started, highest price this prep at $6.50, gets out to the right distance, needs to win this to get into the Melbourne Cup. Yeah. Like, no-brainer. I think, Shared Ambition will be pretty fully wound up here. I think the dangers are sound. He's going pretty well this prep now, and he gets out to a suitable distance too.
Yeah, I like sound in this.
And another one that I think can win at a price is number 9, Cariff. His 2 runs the Melbourne way of going. He's run second twice. One was to downdraft on Derby Day last year, so he can handle a rain-affected track like it was then. And he ran behind True Self as well in her win, so who just ran okay in the Caulfield Cup last year. So he has some pretty solid Victorian form lines. So that's that one, mate. Obviously, you're going to skip the Cox Plate and the Get Out Stakes, mate. Alrighty. So, the Crockett. Listed race, 3 old fillies, 1,200.
Yeah, I like the number 3 Maha in this. He ran second to September run last start. And it's won at the track before, so I thought $7 was a decent price for it. Draws really well here. Nothing else really in the race apart from probably number 1 Minaj screamed out at me. Happy to have it on top. This number 5, Written Beauty, it's $3.20 favourite at the moment. I've never heard of it. And if you look at its form, it's raced Gold Coast twice, and it's raced at Canterbury. So unless it's wins, it absolutely whacked them, which I'm not sure because I haven't seen the replays. Don't understand that price.
6 lengths, gap back to third. So at the Gold Coast, it won by virtually 10 lengths if you take out second. Over 1,200 at the Gold Coast, and it won by 2 lengths over 1,100 at Canterbury. And its starting price profile suggests that it's pretty smart, but based on that, mate, I can't have that. rather have the September run form, which Minaj has done twice this prep. Blinkers on, which I like to see first time, so might sharpen her up a bit. And I think if you're within a length of September run, 2 runs this prep, I think that's pretty strong. $6 looks an absolute steal. Okay, that's the card. Of course, we have the biggie. So, the Cox Plate, 100th running, mate. Unbelievable.
Hit me with some stats, mate. Give it to me.
Alrighty, so only 4 horses since the year 2000 have been outside of their placings last start. So, let's have a look through. No. Yep, Master of Wine got none. Magic Wand got none. And Buckhurst, but he's not going to make the field. So they're the ones that you can put a line through. Barriers 12 and 14 have never had a winner in 100 years. So when you take out the emergency, you have Russian Camelot in barrier 14, and you have in barrier 13. Am I blind?
Grand Slam.
No, Natoya. So when you take the emergency out, Natoya will go down to barrier 12, and Russian Camelot will go down to barrier 14. But he's drawn the bit wide outside, mate. He likes being in his own room. I don't think there'll be any issues. But previous winners: Far Lap 2 times, Kingston Town 3 times, Maccabi Diva, and do yourself a favour, rewatch that replay this week. She bossy around the corner. Everything else was off the bit. About 180 from home. He's still on the bit. He said it's the easiest win she's ever had in her career. A Cox Plate. Crikey. And so that was in her 3rd Melbourne Cup year. And he was saying that the Melbourne Cup was an afterthought. And she still came out and won with 58 kilos. Absolute freak.
Jeez.
So you think 2 times. And obviously, Winks, 4-time winner.
A mighty mare.
And last year, the Japanese girl, Lee Gracheur, absolutely thumped him. So,
I think I had CV last year.
Yeah. Castelvecchio. He was a great 3-year-old. Much better than Grand Slam. And I read an article this morning, actually, about Sir Dragonet.
Yep.
So, who's his stablemate there, mate? It's Grand Slam.
Yeah.
You know what he said this morning? Sir Dragonet needs a really hot speed. So, why do you think Grand Slam's in the race? He's going to go forward with the lightweight, as he did in the Caulfield Guineas, and he's going to set an absolute torrid speed, I reckon, which is going to suit Sir Dragonet. That's their big marquee horse, so yeah, that's really annoyed me. Just the stables playing their little games. But anyway, how do you see the race unfolding, mate?
Yeah, look, I think there'll be some good early speed, as you said, from Grand Slam, and a good tempo. So Grand Slam will get out to the front, and then I think there'll be a sort of a decent field behind that with your Magic Wands, Master of Wines, Probabiles, Coldings, and Fierce Impact sort of ridden positively and going forward. And then you've got a few horses at the back, Russian, Arcadia Queen, Humidor. Don't know too much about this Armory horse, but apparently it likes to sort of sit a bit off the pace as well.
Yeah. All right. I'll give a brief recap on the international runners. So, Armory was only a length off the best stayer last start in Gayarth, who just retired to stud this week. So he ran behind Gayarth and Magical last start. He has the best form in this race over 2,000 metres. He's, for mine, on a dry track, he's the best of the Europeans for mine. Aspetar is by far the hardest one to get a gauge on. I had a look through his form profile. He won a Group 1 in Germany, and I think his best trip might be 2,400 metres. Listen to the trainer or owner, gets back in his runs. And yeah, his best trip might be 2400, but he beat Best Solution, who was a Caulfield Cup winner, by 10 lengths. So yeah, he has that form reference to get some sort of gauge on. Yeah, Buckhurst, as said, 7-day backup was a query, but he beat home Sir Dragon at home last 2 starts, which, yeah, even more mind-boggling. Magic Wand has been the pacemaker for the O'Brien stable her last few starts, and her best form looks behind her. She did prove that she could travel to Australia last spring, so she set a pretty solid tempo in the Cox Plate last year, and then she went on to win the McKinnon. So, yeah, she's proven it, but others preferred. Sir Dragonet, so he's an interesting runner. He's probably the best wet tracker of all the Europeans, so if it's bottomless, he has to go into your calculations for mine. Very consistent, but he still hasn't won in 78 weeks, and he thrashed Norway and Dashing Willoughby by about 8 lengths over 2400, but Norway is the Chris Waller train thing that they brought over in the autumn.
Yeah,
he's been yuck. And Dashing Willoughby, as you saw, ran last in the Caulfield Cup. So he's the hardest to assess for mine. He did run second to Magical last start, so that is good form. I think if it is a wet track, he has to go into your calculations. So, who'd you land on top, mate?
Well, mate, as I was saying, it's I think there'll be some good tempo in the race, and there's one horse that really suits, especially on a wet deck, as you previously mentioned. Number 11, Russian Camelot. Look, been on him every start this prep. He was pretty disappointing last start, but I think the pace in that race just didn't suit him. It was run pretty slow, and I think Ollie, the jockey, was genuinely surprised down the straight to see Arcadia Queen absolutely zoom past. She's obviously a cracking horse, but I just think the wet track is too much of a query for mine. She's drawn really well here. So I think she'll run a decent race, but Russian, like you said, I think being out wide, if he can sit back and just pounce late, start building into his ride sort of around the last turn and then run over the top of him over the short Moonee Valley Straight. I can't jump off him. I did really like the look of Armoury, but like you said, that wet track is just a bit of a query. But there's another horse at odds that is in red hot form, and I think he's at a really decent price, $15 for Colding. Chris Waller will get him absolutely cherry ripe for this. The 2,000 metre question mark around him was answered last start. I think this race might be. I think there's just going to be some swoopers that are going to be a bit too much for him. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him feature in the top 3. I think he's going that well. And he's such a tough horse that he might fight it out around the bend. So Huey Bowman was riding on him and doing some track work throughout the week and said he looks better than he's ever seen him. So, which based on his last 3 rides, his last 3 runs, Colding, I'd agree with that. J-Mac on the back. So, I've got Russian Camelot winning. I've got Colding holding on for second. And then I think Arcadia Queen will be dashing home for third.
Okay. Mate, if you like Colding, you have to like Fierce Impact at the price.
Yes, I thought that price as well. Fierce Impact was pretty decent.
$34. Like, he was unsuited by that race shape last start. The hot pace will suit him. So he's one of, I think he's one of the better local chances, but I still think Arcadia Queen and Russian Camelot and even Humidor, to be honest, are probably the better chances over the locals. Armoury on top for me. I just think the European form is just superior. Gayarth and Magical. If it's a soft 6 or better, I'll be in his camp. If it's worse, a soft 7, I'll be having Russian Camelot as my on top selection. I just think, all things considered, I think it might be a string too far for Armory, but Russian Camelot. The thing about I didn't mind the draw, especially if it's a torrid track, mate, and it's torn up. The wider ground's going to be the best ground. So,
yeah,
if he can get 3 wide with some cover, I don't see why he can't run a nice race. And who else did I have? I had, if it's wet, Sir Dragonet has to go into my numbers as well. But if it's dry, I've got Arcadia Queen in there. So, and Aspetar, you have to throw him into all your exotics, I think, because he's just the massive
question mark
wild card in the race. So if it's dry, up to a soft 6, I've got Armory on top, Russian Camelot running second, and I've got Arcadia Queen running third. If it's a bit wetter, I've got Russian Camelot on top. I think Armory will still run a nice race, running into second, and I've got Sir Dragonet running third. So, tough race this year, mate. Tough race.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. Mate, let's get stuck in to the juicy stakes as we do. So, another unsuccessful result last week with Fitchuse just going down by half a head. You get that, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah. Oh, well. So, we're sticking in Melbourne this week, punters. So, we're keeping it simple. So, we've raised $105 for Living Legends now, so we've cracked the century. Who do you like as your best value this week?
Yeah, just mention Colding in the Cox Plate at $15. Worth including an each way bet for him as a little bit of a saver, I reckon. I think he'll run a great race. $15. I don't see him coming in too much from that.
Okay. I've got race 8, number 9, Cariff, as outlined, $34. Melbourne leg, no weight on his back. Not much more to add each way.
Race 4, number 4, Incredulous Dream. As mentioned, I'll have a bit of a play at that $7.50 price. I think it's about $2.30 odd for the place. So each way, why not?
Nice one. I'm in the Get Out Stakes with race 10, number 1, Menage. Blinkers on, September run. What's that form? Good enough for me. Think she'll get the job done. And your best of the day, mate.
Man, this was really tough to find a best of the day because there's a few horses that I really like, but there's just one danger in the race. Young Werther is one of them. I really like him in it, but Cherry is a really obvious danger. I liked Ancestry in the first, but if it's a wet track, Jungle Edge could honestly threaten. So, and I like Portland Sky as well, but then Bella Nipotina. So, look, I think I'm going to stick with Ancestry in the first. Its last few races have been outstanding, so it's not the best price, but I think it should win that.
That's all right, mate, because I've got something over $4 as my best. So, race 4, number 1, Thermosphere. If the weather comes, I think she's nearly unbeatable at $4.40. So that price will not stick around if the weather does come. Mark my words. So, mate, another one in the books. Gee, we're on the eve of something huge next week.
Yeah. What are we going to do? We're just going to get blind or something and do the podcast just for a laugh.
Well, I have work off next week, and obviously so do you. But so
yeah, I do.
Yeah, we might even do some. We'll definitely do some deep dives with the Group 1s. I think there's 5 on the card. Golden Eagle. Mate, we'll have to do some other special episodes for the Melbourne Cup, the Oaks. There's plenty going on.
There's a lot on. Like I said, there's plenty to look forward to in the next couple of weeks, punters.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited anyway. Yeah.
I'm nervous excited.
Not a big punting weekend for me this weekend. I'm kind of just waiting for the grand final.
Yeah, same here, mate. I'll have a bit of a play in a couple of races. I'll have a few exotics floating around, specifically in the Cox Plate. But, yeah, I'll take it easy.
Yeah. Alrighty, best of luck this weekend, mate. And to you, punters. But, yeah, give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter. Leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. And we're obviously on YouTube. So, until next time. We'll see you then.
Thanks, guys.